Hello fellow crafters, Janine here, and I got my new watercolor palette in from Jerry's Orderama today. Yay! I'm so excited. I finally get to set up my watercolor palette. As promised, they sent me the exact same thing that I ordered that had originally arrived to me damaged, and I'll link the an iCard right here to my Jerry's Orderama haul, where you see that I originally got a, when my palette came in, it came in damaged, but Jerry's has awesome customer service, and they replaced it free of charge to me and didn't charge me for shipping or anything, so they shipped me a brand new palette. So I'm ready to get started and ready to get it set up. And there are a number of different ways you can set up a watercolor palette. Of course, you can set it up however you wish. It is 100% your choice. But I like the way Lindsay Wyrick, the Frugal Crafter, I like the way she set up her palette. She's got a great tutorial video about doing it. It's one of her earlier videos on her channel. So I'm going to set it up the way she suggested. She is somebody that I enjoy watching. I like watching her watercolor videos. She's been watercoloring for like over 20 years, so I figure if there's somebody that has experience and really knows what they're doing when it comes to watercolor, it is Lindsay. So I'm going to do it the way she does it, because as far as I'm concerned, she's the expert. So I've already kind of got things laid out. I've already spent a little time thinking about how I'm going to lay them out, and she does hers in rainbow order, which makes perfect sense to me. And then the colors that she recommended that are her most frequent used colors, of course, are warm and cool versions of each of the primary colors, as well as some neutrals and a couple of greens that she finds particularly useful. So the colors I think that I'm going to get the most use out of, I'm going to put in the larger wells in the palette, and the colors that I think I'm not going to use as frequently, I'm going to put in smaller wells in the palette. And then I'm going to leave some spaces, because there are enough wells within this palette that I do have extra room. So I'm going to leave a little space in between these primary colors to add to. So if I decide that there's some more colors of paint that I would like, that would be useful, then I have room to grow within this palette. So I've already sort of laid it out where I think the colors would be the most useful for me. Again, like I said, with the most frequently used colors in the larger wells. So this is pretty much my thought process here. With the blues, I'm just a little unsure about which blues, and I'm thinking maybe I should move things down here with put the greens over here with the sap green in the larger well and the hooker's green in the smaller well, and then do the phthalo blue and the ultramarine blue in the larger wells, and then the Prussian blue in a smaller well, and then this dioxazine purple, violet rather, in the in a small well, because I don't think it's one I'm going to use as much. Now these two neutrals I believe I will probably use more frequently, so I'm going to put those over here. This is the burnt umber and the burnt sienna, and then this is a Payne's gray, and I don't think I'm going to use it quite as much, so I'm going to put it in a smaller well. So this is how I'm going to lay my palette out, and again, I've got some room here for growth. So the only thing I don't like is that in this area here, I feel like it's a little heavy, a little crowded, but I think to keep it in rainbow order and to have things in an appropriately sized well, this is what's going to be the best layout for me. And so I'm going to take a black Bic Market, and on the side of, let me move this up so maybe you can see a little bit better. On the side of each well, I'm going to write the name of the watercolor, so that way if I need to replace them, I'll know what exactly was in that particular well. So right here I'm just writing alizarin crimson. And on this one I'm going to write quinacridone magenta. That's a mouthful right there, and it's especially challenging to spell. And I'm not the greatest speller in the world, so it's a good thing I've got the tube here. Okay, and I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna continue doing that all the way around the palette, and I'll come back when I'm ready to put actually put the colors in. Okay, so I have labeled around the side of around this entire palette rather, and so I'm gonna go ahead and take the paints out so I can tip this over and show you. And there you can see I just wrote the names of all of the paint around the entire thing with that big market, because it's an alcohol marker and it should stand up to water fairly well. So I'm going to start with my alizarin crimson, which is going to go in here, and I'm not going to squeeze the entire tube of paint into there. I would say I'm putting about a third of the tube in there. The next one is my quinacridone magenta. And you can see I'm trying to put it towards the back of the well so that there's room for me to go in with my brush and kind of pull the color away like that. I don't want to fill the entire bottom of the well with the color. I just want to keep it towards the back of the well. I can tell you just by looking at that looks like a gorgeous color. I can't wait to see it applied to paper. So let's move on to the yellows. The first one here is Permanent Lemon. And again, I'm not squeezing the whole tube, just about, I would say it's about 25 to 30% of the tube. And this is the Permanent Gamboge. I would say that was about a 33%, about 1/3. And so I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm probably going to fast forward at this point and play a little music. Okay, I've got my entire palette set up, and I would say I used between 25 to 33% in the larger wells. I would say I used about 33% of the tube, about a third of it, and then in the smaller wells I used probably about 25% or a fourth of the tube of paint. And so I can see where these definitely do go a long way. It doesn't seem like these little tubes don't seem like there's that much color in them. But when you consider it's watercolor and you're using, 50% or better water in most situations to the amount of paint, I can see where these would go a very long way. Now, Lindsay's recommendation, and I am going to follow her recommendation because, again, I do like her method, so I'm going to follow her recommendations, is to leave this where air can flow and dry these paints out a little bit so that it will make them more portable. Not that I really look to be traveling with these paints, but it's possible that the palette will have to be moved around to accommodate my space. So it's possible that it could be moved around a lot. So I'd like to know that the paint's not going to drip or move from its little well. I'd like to know that it's going to stay put. So I am going to do like she suggested and not cover the palette completely, but just put the lid on a little bit cat-a-corner so that it'll keep dust from accumulating in the paint wells, but will allow the airflow to move through while the paint dries. So this video will probably not go live until about 2 weeks after I actually start filming it. So I'm going to come back in a week and check on it and see where we are in the drying phase. And if we need more drying time, we'll let it sit another week. So I don't know exactly when this video is going to go live, but it doesn't matter to you because you're watching it now. You didn't have to wait, did you? So I'll see you in a week. Well, it's been exactly 1 week today since I put the colors in my new watercolor palette. Give me a moment, I might be able to talk sometime today. But anyway, so let's see if our watercolor paints have dried up and if they're ready to use. And just looking at it, I think we have achieved it. Oh yeah, everything's dried up quite nicely. So I think, my friends, that we're ready to paint, I do believe. So stay tuned. The next video in this series is going to be swatches, which I'm going to be working on here pretty soon. But thank you so much for tuning in and watching me set up my brand new watercolor palette. I do appreciate you being here. As always, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like to help fund me and help me to be able to better afford the products that it takes to bring these videos to you, then there's going to be an iCard right about there, there you go, where you can donate if you like. If you don't have the funds, or if it's not what you feel like you want to do, then that is okay. Just know that I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being here and watching my videos. So as always, you guys have a very blessed day. Bye now.